after me. She pointed to an open spot on the wall of photographs. Next time you come in, there will be a picture of me and the C.C. Collins mélange. Restaurants that served only breakfast and lunch had been popping up along Ventura Boulevard. But the Petite Cafe had been around way before the trend. As its name implied, it was small, and the tables were close together. It had an interesting clientele. The photographs covering the walls were a testament to its many entertainment business customers, but you were just as likely to see average Joes who lived or worked in the area. As if on cue, the owner of the Petite Cafe brought over a plate of food and set it in front of Cece. He had no idea what was going on between the two tables, and after he set the bowl down, stood behind her to pose for a picture. Cece did a little hand fluffing of her brown hair. She had smartly stayed with the same simple style throughout the years, which gave her the appearance of never aging. Her makeup seemed a little overdone in person, but would be perfect in the photographs. She struck a pose with her merry smile and held her fork above the large bowl. The mélange, as Cece called it, was basically a salad made with organic baby lettuces, fresh sprigs of dill, sugar plum tomatoes, and shredded carrots, topped with a couple of poached eggs and a drizzle of balsamic dressing. There were several more photos with Cece holding her fork over the bowl before the owner and the server taking the photos went back to their duties. Meanwhile, I continued the conversation with the women. We met at Shed and Royal Books and More. I mentioned that there was a yarn department. It's part of the More, I explained. Then I held out my hand to introduce myself. I'm Molly Pink, and I'm the assistant manager of the bookstore and in charge of the yarn department. You mean that bookstore has a knitting department? One of the women said. I heard a shriek from behind me, and before I could stop her, Adele Abrams Humphreys had popped out of her chair and was standing next to the woman who had made the comment. Why would you call it a knitting department? Adele demanded. She was tall and amply built and had a loud voice as well. The woman who spoke shrank back as Adele stood over her. I just thought knitting and crochet were the same thing, the woman said feebly. Knitting and crochet aren't the same thing? Another of them said. The poor women had no idea that the mere word knitting to Adele was like a red cape to a bull. Knitting and crochet are not at all the same. One of them is so much better, and that is crochet, which is what we do. As if to add a visual to the explanation, Adele modeled the tunic she was wearing. It was made of multicolored granny squares. It was attractive and over the top at the same time. But then, when it came to crochet and, well, just about everything, Adele was always over the top. I noticed that the women were all looking a little uncomfortable by now. They paid their check quickly and were already pulling on their coats when the server came back with the change. Just before they went outside, they all turned back and gave us a last once-over. They're certainly a rowdy bunch. I thought that people who sat around and... The speaker's eye stopped on Adele. And did whatever with yarn were all sweet old ladies. The woman made eye contact with me. I suppose you overheard that, too. And then they were gone. Sweet old ladies, Adele repeated, starting to get up from the chair. I had to grab her tunic to keep her from going after them. We're certainly not sweet, and for sure not old. They were right about rowdy, though, Dinah Lyons said with a chuckle, looking out the picture window at the three women as they pulled their coats shut and made a run through the rain for their cars. It had been raining steadily for hours, but then it was...